Great. Hi, everyone. It's Aman this side. I'll be the host for this panel discussion. So I'll just let you know how this will work out. So in the first 45 minutes, we'll be addressing the few general questions that every student will be having. And in the last 45 minutes, we'll be having a live Q&A session wherein you can ask your questions from our panelists. So yeah, that's what it's going to be like. So as of now, we have different universities and important stakeholders in our panel. So I would like to introduce everyone. So we have Ms. Surbi Joshi from UCD. We have Ms. Nilanjana from TCD. We have Ms. Wendy from Education in Ireland. We have Ms. Apeksha from NCI. We have Mark here from UCD's career office. We have Mr. Suneet, who's the founder of Fateh Education. We have Mr. Aritra here, who's the founder of One Step Global. And then we have Shreya here, who's the recruitment expert at CIT, Cork Institute of Technology. We have Ms. Jasmine here from DCU. We have Mr. Tom as an accommodation expert from Value Group. We have Manoj here from Auxilo FinServe, and Manoj is our education loan expert. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll probably address the questions to our respective panelists for the first 40 odd minutes, and then we can have the live Q&A session as we discussed. So first question I would like to address to Ms. Wendy and Mr. Mark. Yeah. So as per the recent developments in Ireland, it seems that the Irish government is doing really well in terms of tackling the present COVID-19 situation. So I would ask Ms. Wendy and Mr. Mark to probably address the situation and throw some light on the efforts that Ireland government is initiating.
Hi, thanks, Aman, and welcome everybody to this webinar. There are a couple of points that I want to mention in this. Firstly, on the 23rd of April, we had PM Modi and the Prime Minister, who's called the Taoiseach of Ireland, Dr. Leo Varadkar, actually speak to each other, and they were congratulating each other on the great work that both countries have done with COVID. And there are a lot of similarities that exist between India and Ireland with in terms of pharmaceutical and medical industry. And once this situation is actually under control and we are out of it, we're going to see better ties that will happen between India and Ireland, and that is going to be a huge stepping stone for both the countries. The next point that I actually wanted to mention is the recent OECD report said that the Irish economy, compared to all the economies in Europe, is going to be the least affected and would bounce back really fast from this situation. So that's a plus point for Ireland. In terms of the government, they are actually giving free medical services to international students. Where they when they require it, it's full services free, of course. And finally, any of the international students who have lost their part-time job during this COVID situation, okay, they are giving them 350 euros. So the government of Ireland is actually doing quite a bit, okay, for students and for the country itself. Mark, would you like to add to that?
Yes, I mean, I would reinforce what you were saying, Wendy. International students were not discriminated against. They were treated as any other worker in terms of our COVID payment for people who lost their jobs as a result of the current crisis that we're in. And in fact, many of them will find that they haven't actually lost their jobs, but their jobs have stayed in stasis. So if it's possible to reopen during their internship period, they will go back into those organizations to finish out. So it's about maintaining a continuity, which I think was reflected in the OECD report as well. I noted last week that the European Union Statistics Office was calculating that Ireland's economy for 2021, that's after this year, presuming that we come out of this situation in the way that we hope, is likely to grow at 6% in the following year. Now, that's a really high number. I know 6 sounds low, but in terms of economic development, that's a really high number. I also know that from our role, I work in the Careers Network at UCD. So one of our roles, obviously, is liaising with employers about maintaining continuity and recruitment into the future. And at the moment, they are maintaining any of the offers that they have made for September. So for graduates from this year, if they've secured an employment, we have not seen those being withdrawn yet. Now, obviously, that could change if the crisis was to worsen. But we're hoping, as with India, that we have finally gotten on top of some of this crisis and that we're able to manage our way out the other end. I think there has been some disruption to internships where people have been unable to maintain the internships, as you mentioned. But in terms of graduate recruitment, that seems to be holding up quite strongly for the moment. So it's very difficult to make predictions around coronavirus and COVID-19, given the fluctuating dynamic of the situation. But so far, so good. And so far, the planning has been systematic, and it has been with a view to opening things up at the other end, rather than simply trying to hold everything at this stage.
Great. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Wendy, for answering that. So, Wendy, I would also like to ask that since you are the Vice President of Education in Ireland and India and South Asia office, so how are you ensuring that the universities are maintaining constant communication with the students?
Actually, I don't need to ensure that. They're doing it on their own. Okay, so we are not sitting here with a stick. They have been very, forthcoming. They are in touch, constant touch with the existing and the future, the upcoming students. Okay, they all are constantly either doing webinars or chatting with them. So there's nothing that education in Ireland is taking a stick and telling them you have to do. Okay,
Yeah.
so they've been extremely good. Education in Ireland is doing a couple of things. So we have very strong social media messaging that is going on our Facebook and Instagram page. And a lot of the universities, the international officers as well as the existing students are contributing to that. So students should actually go and see all the social media pages, whether it's Education in Ireland or each of the institutions that they're looking at joining, see their social media pages, because there's a lot of communication that's coming out there. And that's first-hand communication. Okay, so you're never going to get it from anybody else. The other thing that I would like to mention is we are doing ourselves. So Education in Ireland is doing a lot of online events. We did conclude a student event on the 29th of April, but there is also one more coming up next Wednesday, which is the 13th of May, from 3:30 to 5:30. We're doing a live Q&A with all the, we call them the higher education institutions of Ireland. So all the Irish institutions are going to be there to address any questions that you have further, that are not actually addressed out here. We'll also have people from the visa office there. We're going to have our accommodation experts over there, as well as loan experts over there. So it's going to be a full kind of service that we're giving, and the links will be sent out to you. I think it's literally on the way right now to you guys. The HEIs will send it to you all. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for your opinion on this.
I just want to reinforce something Wendy was saying earlier, which is the increased engagement between Ireland and India at a business level. Now, Ireland obviously is tiny by comparison with India, but we have been building on that quite strongly, and there have been quite a lot of opportunities. I've been involved in a couple of Ireland-India Business Association meetings in the last few years, and it has struck me as to how much momentum this has. And I don't think that momentum is going to get turned off. I would particularly like to endorse the Embassy of India here in Dublin, which has done a lot of work to try and bring this forward, a lot of very positive work. And I don't think that's going to slow down. In terms of what we're doing in the careers network at the moment, we're maintaining services to our students at the moment, including our international services, which has included Instagram live chats. It's improved. We've got a whole series of boot camps for people who are finishing their degrees at the moment. They're rolling out just after the examination period. So it's wrong to think of Ireland as going into a lockdown as in nothing happening. There's a lot happening. It's just happening in a different way. And I think that adaptability is something we're all going to have to embrace in a lot more of a proactive way as we move through 2020 and into 2021.
Great. Thank you, Mark. So next question, I would like to address it to the different universities that we have and Mr. Suneet and Aritra. So obviously at this point in time, it's impossible to attend face-to-face counseling sessions. So how are you ensuring that, every student queries get addressed and, there's no lag during the communication?
Okay, in terms of from a counselor's perspective, we've been dealing with students from different cities for a while, even where we don't have offices. So in a way, we've been able to perfect systems wherein we're able to communicate, understand and explain to how it works. What's helped out, is the two things. One, this generation is anyways born on the internet generation. They're much easier, the quicker they understand these things much easier. Second is that, with the COVID thing, because everything is moved online, it is not becoming very hard for us to explain. So again, we have a tool which are ready, which is something which you're able to explain. And, because students being active as they are, much easier rather than just on a face-to-face. It's easier. We're getting in more time. The students are able to spend more time rather than traveling to our offices. They're able to use that time for having more in-depth chat for that matter. So I think it's been a good experience to date.
Okay. Would you like to add to that, Aritra?
I think, just to add one point, what Sunit said, that it's an internet generation. So even when it was not our pre-COVID era, of course, we used to travel for the fairs and everything, but still we would have seen that actual conversions, happened on a one-to-one communication, either albeit in WhatsApp or in a phone call. So I think universities have already gone into a little bit of online offline mix before this pandemic happened, but now I think clearly the communication is all across online, for obvious reasons. But I think for university representatives, being myself one, and Surbhi, I can see on the screen that we have been trying to reach out to them on an online platforms as well. One, it's cost effective. Second, it's you don't need to travel all the way to meet them. So I think there are certain advantages of of a pandemic, which in terms of sheer communicating with the students.
Great. What about you, Miss Nilanjana?
Hi, I think Sunit and Aritra have summed it up. That is how most of the delegates are approaching it. And we are doing webinars or some kind of an outreach almost on an everyday basis. And yes, it is cost effective and also time effective. So that is how I would sum it up.
Okay, great. So obviously, at this point in time, a lot of students have this question that, whether the scholarships that they were offered before the pandemic happened, will the scholarships still hold value, or will, the number of scholarships that have been rolled out, or, anything will be affected pertaining to the scholarships that the students have been offered?
No, we are not looking at any change. The scholarship schemes remain as they are.
Okay, great. So
Yep.
Jasmine, what about DCU?
Yeah, so in fact, it's pretty much same for us. So we do offer students a scholarship of 2,000 euros. For DCU, we have already taken a decision that for the coming semester, we'll be teaching the first semester online. So
Yeah.
our course start date is 5th of October. So from 5th of October till the December, they'll be studying online in the home country. And under this online on-time initiative, we are offering a further bursary and discount of 500 euro each. So all in all, there will be 2,000 euro scholarship plus 1,000 euro for bursary for the students who are planning to, start their course for this year.
Okay. And how are things at UCD, Miss Joshi?
So, like Nilanjana said, there is no change in terms of the kind of scholarships we offer to the students. We have already announced the global excellence scholarships, which are 100% and 50% already, and we give a lot of bursaries depending upon their merit, and those are still the same. So we are giving offers. Students are still applying to us. And the offers are being made in a similar way what we were doing post COVID-19. So right now there are no changes.
Okay. Anything you have to add, Miss Apeksha and Shreya, for your respective universities in terms of scholarships that are being offered?
Yeah, so same as they all said, actually same scholarships are being provided. We are just looking on the refunds end, that what is that we can do for the students to, not put them in a loss situation. So we are coming up with the policies and just a couple of updates in terms of English language tests, that Duolingo is being accepted and TOEFLs and IELTS online tests are being accepted, which was just a challenge for them before. They did not know at all about it, and it has all just been officialized by the college and the visa office.
Great. So how's it happening at Cork Institute of Technology, Shreya? Shreya, you're not audible.
Probably unmute. Shreya, your voice is not audible. Probably,
You're not audible.
yeah, your mic is not accessible. I guess, while we fix this up, at the back end, so we can go ahead to the
Sure.
next question.
Sure. Yeah. So, Ms. Nilanjana, is there a provision wherein the students can defer their enrollment to a later intake for UCT?
Yes,
Sorry,
yes,
for
for
GCT.
Trinity, yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
we are offering a lot of provisions given that this is an unprecedented situation. So we are offering a lot of provisions, a lot of flexibilities. Students can definitely defer their options. And in that case, any deposit or any tuition fee that they may have paid would be carried forward automatically.